welcome to the Science Faction Podcast, where science meets fact meets fiction.
This is Science Faction for the week of March 30th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Dominguez. And with me today are two individuals. Did they attend a rally this weekend? I don't know. Let's ask them.
I'm Benjamin Daniel Lawless. I sadly did not, but I was there in spirit.
Devon Kraft. We did attend. We had a very busy Saturday, but we were able to go for a little bit.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, since you're the one that did, tell us about it. Because I didn't either, because I was home just with me and the kids, and I wasn't about to leave the house. Not necessarily. Some may call it necessary, and that's my bad. But Devon, how was the third No Kings March happened this weekend? Big rally. I've heard reports of 8 to 10 million people attending the various
That's great.
things. What was your experience, Devon?
So here it seems like they kind of made the time a lot more broad. It was like literally from like 11 to 5, and they had kind of it sectioned off for protesting, and then we're going to do speeches, and then more protesting. So since it was so spread out throughout the day, it felt like there weren't as many people. I don't know if like total there were the same amount or more people here. But I remember the first two we went to, it seemed like it was just packed.
Yeah.
So it just, Jen and I just noted, we're like, it doesn't feel like as much people, but also, I mean, we're not counting and we're not here the whole 6 hours or whatever. So, but it happened. It was, great. A lot of people did show up and all showed their support or lack thereof for the current government. And so that was cool. But like I said, we were really busy on Saturday, so it's not like we even went for our normal time because we would have gone probably for a couple hours. And the park they always do it in is a very big park. There's a playground and a big stage, like a built-in full-on stage, which is cool. So there's a lot of stuff for the kids to do. So usually they play at the playground for a while we're protesting. But this Saturday, both kids had birthday parties about the same time, which was at like 2:30 and 3 o'clock, so right in the middle of the day. So we went to No Kings first, and then we each took a kid to a different birthday party.
Wow.
And in that morning, also the kids went to a Easter egg hunt. There's a place near our house that does it every weekend before Easter. I don't know why they do it before Easter, but probably because it's more busy on Easter weekend. But so there was that, and that night we went to a game night at Jen's sister's house. She lives next door. So it was a very busy Saturday. But yeah, we did go to No Kings, and it was great. Everybody who can go should go. I don't know if they've talked about a date for the next one. And I think they're doing a good job of not having them too often, because you will get diminishing returns.
Yeah, plus
like
you gotta plan it out. Like the last two we haven't attended because we didn't plan for it. And we're in the, like, all of us, we're in the middle of kid stuff. Like for you, birthday parties, Easter egg hunts. For me, wife's out of town. We got other things going on.
You got guilted into being a chaperone at a kids' night out.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that happened too. That was Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was
Thank
great.
you, Stephen.
You're welcome. It was very smooth, and it was not as chaotic as the last one that I volunteered for. So that was kind of nice.
And I'll be on the record. I was not the one who guilted you into participating.
No,
so,
it was that other lady, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I was
Wasn't
gonna participate either way, probably.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Because I knew both kids wanted to go, and with my second grader, just barely making the cut for being able to attend something that up to 8th grade can attend, I'm like, I wouldn't mind being at this one just in case. But it all went so super smooth. Not a big deal.
Sweet. Yeah, we did. We had some. We definitely took a lot of the feedback that we got from previous times that we did it, and so like a big, like, hey, if you're running a an event like this, one of the things that we heard and we did was we made sure that all the chaperones arrived 30 minutes beforehand, and we had a little huddle talking about like, okay, well, here's what we're expecting to do. You know,
that was really good.
We had different zones and encouraged everybody to swap, like move clockwise through all the different zones at the community center every 30 minutes, which kind of happened and kind of didn't at different points, but we made it work. We all
Some people
had,
stopped moving, and I am upset about that.
Yeah. And then we had, but everybody had, like we all had a text thread going, so we could talk amongst each other and figure out like, hey, I've got to use the restroom. Can someone cover my area for a moment?
That was really helpful for sure.
Yeah. Or, hey, I can't leave what I'm doing right now, but a bunch of kids seem to be hiding underneath the bleachers. Could someone check that out?
Yeah.
There were like 5 kids under the bleachers. And one of them, when he came out, he turned to me and goes, it was really comfortable under there. Like,
wow. Just go dig a hole and hang out in it. What are you doing out here?
Man, yeah. So just kind of that was pretty wild. But yeah.
It's not, so what people don't know what we're talking about. We didn't really describe it. But there's something, there's a kids night out that the school does. And it's a Friday night from 6 until 9, and it's at our local community center. And the community center is like, they open it up. Here's all the things for the kids to play with. It's a big gym. It's a bunch of rooms. There was a quiet room where a movie was playing, and there was some art. There was a dance room, which was way too loud because I'm old. The big gym where people were playing basketball, running around. They did dodgeball, this stuff. And it's cool because it's just the kids being kids. And as a chaperone, the only real thing that I had to do was say probably 10,000 times, walk please. Because the kids just want to run full blast everywhere. And there's a lot of hallways and blind corners and stuff. So if they're running full blast, there'll be some heads knocking together. But beyond that, I mean, there was nothing else I had to say to anyone because they're all good kids just hanging out, right? We're just there. Right. I feel like my role was there just in case, right? Just in case something happens, I'm there. Otherwise, I was hands off. Even with my kids. One of my kids ran over to him, Dad, I was like, go deal with it. I'm not your dad right now. Go deal with life. Go talk to people, say that you're displeased or walk away. Like I'm not dad right now. And then what's great about that is then at the end of the night, the kids are like, oh man, I ate like 4 cookies and like 2 pieces of pizza. And I was like, wonderful. Hope you have a good night's sleep. And they did.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the wild part about it is that, it's events like these that definitely encourage independent behavior, right? And that's at the end of the day, probably since my son was like 4, that was like the one thing that I was like, you know what? I really want my son to grow up to be independent. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, granting people independence means that they may choose things that are okay for them to choose, but you would prefer that they didn't, Yeah. And so in our case, my son had talked with a couple of his friends and made the determination in his head that none of his friends were going. And despite us like confirming with him that he wanted to go the day before, buying him a ticket, he was like, no, I'm not going to go. And being okay with his independence there was something I had to work on a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was still a lot of fun, super cool, and that's how it goes sometimes.
Indeed.
My friends, we
Yes.
just got through another Steam sale,
Oh boy.
and I did not emerge unscathed.
What did you do?
There are a couple of games that I'd like to highlight that I had gotten on extreme sale that were on my wish list. But so the first one being Speed Demons 2, which is a sequel to a game that was on Apple Arcade exclusively and is no longer on Apple Arcade, that I very much like, that was essentially like a top-down Burnout-like game.
Okay.
And now to have it on computers is really cool. And I played a lot of the demo of it before I ended up purchasing it, and it's just a lot of fun. Essentially, you are you're driving down a highway and you're dodging traffic and you're running into other traffic, and it looks like Tron meets Akira.
What?
in certain ways. And
You're gonna make me click this link.
I'm sorry, my friends, but yeah, it's got a great soundtrack of just like, generic dance, electronic dance music, but just like gets the blood pumping, and has so many modes and types of races and stuff in it. It is bare bones, but it has it where it counts, and I am so glad I own it now. When it's not on sale, it's only $15.
This looks cool.
Yeah. When it's not on sale, it's only $15, but I got it on sale for, I think, like $6. And yeah, it's really nice. So there's that, which was exactly what I was expecting from it. And then I got another game that I didn't know what to expect from it called Queue Up. This Queue Up is I guess you could call it a joke of a game. It bills itself as the future of esports. But what it is it's essentially turning a coin flip into an esport.
Oh, it's satire. Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of satire. And so like the description is: sick of long queues, unfair matchups, and arbitrary reflex tests? Try Queue Up, the coin flipping esport. It's one part clicker, one part multiplayer strategy game, one part demented capitalism simulator, and 100% completely random. And it is so weird and crazy and cool, as a lot of shine on it. You can play as different characters. You can figure out your strategy for the coin toss.
Okay.
In the game, it pretty much says like, hey, from all of our statistics, we found that like when two esports teams that are evenly matched come across one another and play against each other, the results are essentially a coin flip anyway. So we just removed all the parts of the game that weren't that, and now you just have a coin flip. Like, we're saving you time.
Wow.
But then you can, it's 4v4 team-based competition. You have 8 playable heroes, each with their own unique skills and abilities.
What? There's a coin flip. What are you talking about?
You can team up with your friends, or you can play it solo. You can play it against bots if you want.
I have change in my house. I can just flip a coin. Why do I need a video game for this?
I mean, however you'll play, you'll experience the heart-stopping thrills of our patented, mathematically perfect, quantum-powered matchmaking systems. Will you make it to the top of the ladder or be trapped forever in queue low hell? Oh. Don't ask me. Buy the game and find out, it says. And it is a lot of fun. Like, you can upgrade a bunch of stuff on skill trees that essentially, in many cases, has to do with preventing like too much negative impact from losing a match and increasing your rewards for winning a match. Right.
Okay.
Those are many of the stuff that's going on in the skill trees. But it's it says basically, hey, no gameplay of any kind. Victory as a service is how it Queue Up. is what's called the letter Q dash up, UP.
Links
And,
in the show notes. Ugh.
Yeah.
That sounds
I did not emerge unscathed.
crazy. This last weekend, or actually this last week, I should say, on Thursday night, I ran my first Pirate Borg session.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So every Thursday is my role-playing night. And typically it's online. We use Roll20. Christina's husband typically runs. We did D&D for just over a year. And now we've switched over to Land of Eam, which is a little more indie, but super cool. Muppets and Lord of the Rings mixed together, if you will. We're doing a giant hex crawl, which is like you just go to a place, see what's happening, find random things, go on quests. Everyone's silly. It's great fun. It's so much fun, in fact, that they were like, let's play a pirate game too at the same time. So what's really interesting is Land of Eam. There is combat, but it's called a conflict. When you get into conflict with other creatures or beings or whatever, there are a number of phases. The first one being parlay, essentially. I think it's called something else. I'm going blank on it. But you can talk it out. You can attempt to do something clever, or you can attempt to fight, or you can run away, right? And those things happen in order. So a lot of times in that game, when we come into conflict, the first thing that happens is we try to de-escalate or otherwise stop the conflict from moving forward. And that happens more often than not, which is kind of cool. We're playing a role-playing game where like the bandits jump out of the woods, and instead of immediately drawing swords, you're like, hey, did your mother not love you enough? Like, what do you need? And that can turn into a fun role-playing session, right? We're not playing fighting games. We're playing role-playing games. Let's play these roles. And that's cool and that's fun, and we love it, and it's been a lot of fun. This Pirate Borg game is different than that. And what I'm running is called Buried in the Bahamas. It's an adventure that can be like a one-shot. You can expand it to be, several sessions. You can make it into like the beginnings of a large campaign. You can do a lot with it. And the way it's built is to kind of teach the players the different things they can do, like one thing at a time. For example, the game starts, it's like, hey, you're all pirates. You're on a pirate ship. Your Captain Bloodwhip, everything's like super extreme, which is amazing. You're in the dark Caribbean. It's a place that was discovered 100 years ago, completely devoid of people, but tons of treasure and ruins everywhere. And so all the colonists came in, and then there was a eclipse or something, and the dead is rising, and everything's haunted, and there's creatures coming out from the deep, and it's just a crazy place. And that's where you start, is right in the middle of all that. So you're a pirate, the undead live, right? And you're after treasure. Everyone's a lowlife. Everyone. We've got harlots, and we've got escaped convicts, and we got like so many, like all the characters are just bad people in the sense of like bad in a fun way, right? The game does not take itself seriously at all. So game starts, they're on a ship. The Captain Bloodwhip has a treasure map that he's not showing anyone, and you've been sailing around the Caribbean for 3 weeks, and then a storm rolls in, and there's 50-foot waves, and there's a hurricane, and there's and then the ship comes out, and it's made of bones, and there's 3 giant skulls on the forecastle burning flame, and they're all a bunch of black skeletons. It rams your ship, and there's a bunch of fighting. And so instead of doing something like, okay, everyone roll initiative, let's start fighting, instead it moves into a more cinematic mode where I went into character by character and said, okay, what are you doing? There's a big fight happening around everyone on the ship. All the different pirates and the skeletons are all fighting. What are you doing? And so like one of the dudes jumped overboard, was like, I'm out of here. This is nuts. And he just jumped ship. Another guy, they start attacking the skeletons back. But what you do is you allow like a few rounds of that, and then someone shouts land, and then the ship crashes against some rocks, and then the screen, and then it goes black. And then everyone wakes up on the shore of this island with the wreckage of their ship all around them. And then it's like, all right, now we've crashed on this island. The skeletons are gone. What do we do? So it goes from like, here's a little demo of how combat works to now here's how exploration works. And so throughout the course of the rest of the session, they explored the island, found stuff, had to fight some stuff, but they don't have a ship. They're marooned on an island, essentially. So they are able to find enough supplies to stay alive, just barely, and to either build a shelter or build a raft. Not enough supplies to build both. And so on the second day, after a night of drinking rum, which is great because one of the characters rolled that he's a lush, right? He's a drunkard. And so he's just asked, like, where's the rum? Let's drink some rum. And in the game, rum is a way to heal yourself as well. It's just that your agility goes down and you have a chance of throwing up really badly. It's pirates drinking rum. It's fun. It's a fun time. Eventually, they decide to build a raft. And at that point, it's like, all right, you've got a raft. In the middle of the island is like a hill. And once they got to the top of the hill, they could see two other islands in the distance. One of them has smoke coming from it. And one of the survivors from the shipwreck says, oh, yeah, that's this island. And there's a pirate settlement there. And the other island is just a big island. So I go to like this hex map. It's like, all right, you've got your raft. Where are you going? These fools went directly to the hex somehow where the final like dungeon is. They had two other islands to completely explore with events and characters and fun stuff to do. And they skipped all of it and went directly to the last dungeon.
Sounds like when you give somebody the independence, sometimes they will make the decisions you don't want them to make.
Exactly. Which is great. If I know Greg listens, but and I'm not going to spoil things, but like it's the last. It's like I keep saying last. The whole point of this introductory scenario is to like this is one of the things you can do in the game. Yeah, here's some islands. Go explore them. They just dumb luck, happen to explore one hex. Where it's like, oh, you see the thing on the map with the 3 pillars, and so they're there. It's that dungeon area starts off with the sea caves that they have. There's like 5 entrances on their map. One of the entrances is circled, and so we left the game with them outside, floating on their raft, looking at these sea caves, trying to figure out which one to go into, and that's where we ended the session. It was a ton of fun. Everyone got into character. Everyone was doing piratey stuff. The best part of the whole session, I'll end it with this. I've been talking about it for too long. The best part of the session is after the shipwreck, as they've all washed ashore, they're all waking up, trying to figure out what's what. The captain has been their old captain, Captain Bloodwhip, was impaled on a piece of wood and is dying on the beach and is like holding up his fist, holding the treasure map. And, they all run to it, and one of them grabs it. And then, the captain says, there's too much treasure for one person. He says something cryptic and gives the map to one of the characters. Great. The next thing that I'm asked is how many gold teeth are in his mouth. They stripped this guy down. They're all like, one of them was like, how what's his boot size? Somebody else was like, what kind of weapons does he have on him? They stripped their captain bare. And that is 100% the piratey thing to do. I rolled a D4. Sure enough, there were 3 gold teeth in that pirate's mouth that are now in another pirate's pouch.
Okay.
They ripped them teeth out. It was a lot of fun. And so like we're planning on doing that like every few weeks to take a break from Land of Eam and be piratey for a session. And it was a lot of fun. So Pirate Borg, I completely recommend it, as I have been talking about. More on this as it develops. It's good. It's good. If you guys are interested, I could run more of this. It's a lot of fun. All right, we're already 25 minutes in. Is there anything else you guys want to chit chat about before we get to our science-y section of the podcast?
Not for me.
No.
All right. Well, then it's time for Future or Now.
No.
Tell us, Ben, about the science of purpose.
Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. So I get emails from Dan Harris, who previously had run 10% Happier, which is a mindfulness and meditation podcast / app / empire or whatever. And so he had one that kind of came up in my email that was really fascinating, and to me was kind of using two studies, one about but both published through PubMed. One of them about purpose in life is a predictor of mortality across adulthood, and the other one being purpose in life predicts better emotional recovery from negative stimuli. And I think that so like for the first one, this paper published in Psychological Science. That's what it is. I had to hover over it. Basically, the abstract says that having a purpose in life has been cited consistently as an indicator of healthy aging for several reasons, including its potential for reducing mortality risk. So in this study, they sought to extend previous findings by examining whether purpose in life promotes longevity across the adult years using data from a longitudinal midlife in the United States sample. Proportional hazards models demonstrated that purposeful individuals lived longer than their counterparts did during the 14 years after the baseline assessment, even when controlling for other markers of psychological and affective well-being. And moreover, these longevity benefits did not appear to be conditional on the participant's age, how long they lived during the follow-up period, or whether they had retired from the workforce. In other words, having a purpose in life appears to widely buffer against mortality risk across the adult years. So anyhow, all of this kind of coming together, the idea here is maybe if you care about longevity, consider really working on what your sense of purpose is, because it can improve it can be a good predictor of longevity after controlling for other factors. And it may be the biggest contributors to resilience, the speed with which you recover from adversity. The stronger your sense of purpose, the faster you bounce back. So what does that mean? Maybe you can operationalize purpose in your life right now. And this article comes from an interview that he conducted with two scientists named Richie Davidson and Cortland Dahl, who were recently on Dan Harris's podcast. And the first thing that they suggest is to reframe the mundane. So if you have a daily chore going on, dishes, garbage, laundry, perhaps start with consciously connecting it to an altruistic motive. So like, for example, if you're going to be scooping your cat's litter box, you could reflect on how that action is going to benefit your partner and anyone who else walks in the room with that cat box, not to mention the cat. So the task remains identical, but the inner experience is completely different because it's tied to altruistic behavior.
So if my purpose in life, if I decide my purpose in life is to rock and roll all night and party every day, then I need to connect that with how that helps people around me, and then I will live forever. That's what I'm getting out of this. Is that accurate?
And you will live forever?
Well, it says that it's a predictor of mortality, right? So if you're
a predictor of longevity.
Okay.
Psychological predictor of longevity.
Okay. So I'm going to be
Predictor is doing a lot of heavy lifting in this,
Okay.
not necessarily,
All right.
not necessarily like a guarantee, my friend. But I
Still
think
gonna
that
do it.
the idea, sure, all right, but I guess like okay, that purpose, I don't know. I think that that purpose is a jokey purpose. I think that that purpose maybe is not a purpose at all and is in fact hiding from real life.
What?
Can you tell somebody if their purpose is valid?
No, I mean, like
That's a
I think that
jokey
this
purpose.
I think that this is entirely though a like it is very personal, right? Like one person's purpose is not another person's purpose. So maybe that would be like maybe partying hard and being a member of KISS is like you know, but here's the deal, right? Because the members of KISS, they're not just, you know, doing that for their own benefit. They see the large crowds that come out to their performances. They see how their act positively benefits a group. They put in the work
Mm-hmm.
there.
Oh yeah.
So it's not just, you know, even though they're talking about partying every day and rock and roll all night, they that may not be their purpose.
Well, I mean, okay, if we're gonna get into it, their purpose is entertainment, right?
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
they're there to entertain, right? Anyone who gets up on stage, like that is their jam. Like, hey, here's this cool thing I can do. Let me show you and entertain you while I do it. And people get, and so like really, that's their purpose, is entertainment. And
Yeah.
and entertainment can boost people's lives immeasurably sometimes.
Right. But you know, you hear a lot about entertainers who find it mundane, you know, that hey, they're just showing up for a paycheck, right?
Oh, those
And so
are
like
the
this
sellouts.
first idea here, this idea right here is maybe reframe your mundane.
It'd
You
be
know, if you
nice
see this as a chore.
if, as an entertainer, you didn't have to actually do your job. That just a computer could do it, and you just got the credit for it.
More on this as it develops.
Spoilers.
Way to tie that into, yeah. But like that idea though is that like if you're going to do it anyway and you find it to be a chore,
Mm-hmm.
it may not contribute to your longevity unless you find that there's a purposeful version, you know, a way of reframing it
Mm-hmm.
in your perception to make it work. You know,
And there's a
as
lot of
as some-
times I've got chores around the house here that I'm like, more dishes. Like their dishes never stop, and I dislike doing dishes, but I got to do them every single day. And some days it is like, this is not for me. This is for my family. You know, like if it was up to me, if I was living alone, I would have like one cup, one plate. Like I would just minimalize all of that. But it's not all about me. It's about my family. And so that a lot of times does help me like get through it. It's like, okay, this is for them. I want them to be happy, and that works.
the task remained identical,
Yep.
but your inner experience changed
Mm-hmm.
in order to find the purpose in it.
And then once the dishes are done, then I party all night and
There you
every
go.
day.
So, and I mean, here's the thing: like things are hard, right? So, like another potential suggestion that they had here from the conversation is before you start a new project or you begin a difficult conversation or maybe just embarking on anything potentially meaningful, pause for about a minute to like kind of reset your motivation. You know, maybe a brief aspiration, something like, may whatever comes of this do some good in the world, or may this reach somebody who really needs it. What that can do isn't just having a warm fuzzy thought for your own benefit. It's about linking something you're actually doing at that moment to a value that's important to you. And so, like, I don't know, this all speaks to me quite a bit. You can also, when we feel anxious or frustrated, sometimes we get hijacked and you lose our sense of direction Maybe those dishes are piling up at a rate that's really fast, and you've got, two screaming kids that are hitting each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so the suggestion from the scientists here is like another mental shift. That uncomfortable feeling itself can be the reminder to check back in. Instead of a challenge being an interruption of your purpose, the stress becomes the signal to reconnect with what's important. Over time, these difficult moments stop derailing you and start acting as triggers, keeping you connected to your purpose and values, like little reminders.
So like the kids start screaming, and I go, I gotta do the dishes. Is that the connection?
So the adversity being here, where you're feeling anxious and frustrated because you're trying to get one thing done and you got several other things that are competing for your attention.
Yeah.
Right at that moment, right? Maybe this is a moment for you to reframe the mundane or have that little motivation reset to figure out what your purpose is. But you can use your anxiety as a trigger to remind you, hey, you know what? Take a moment. Don't be completely reactive here, and let's actually like reconnect this back, because your inner world is different than your external world.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. If you're interested in more, there is an entire episode of this podcast called it's the what is the podcast called? Because he's changed it recently. 10% with Dan Harris is the name of the podcast. He has an episode with Richie Davidson and Cortland Dahl where they talk about all this. And so, perhaps if that speaks to you, I recommend listening to it. I've really liked listening to his podcasts over the years. And
Excellent.
More on this as it develops.
So cool. All right, let's move along. Devin, I haven't heard you talk very much this episode at all. So I hope that whatever science you've brought to us, you get super excited about and talk for like 20 minutes.
Do we have that much time?
Oh, yeah. Let's go. We'll make the time.
So the topic I'm talking about is This Week in Space. It's actually about the new launch of the Artemis 2, which is the Artemis program is our program to go back to the moon, which I feel like I've heard about kind of in the background for a long time. And I always see things like this, big projects always seem like, oh, well, they're far in the future or something's going to happen and where they lose their funding or something's going to go wrong and it's not actually going to happen. But hopefully now the Artemis 2 is actually on the launch pad, scheduled for an April 1st launch, which is just Wednesday, so the day after tomorrow from when we're recording this. And this is going to be a crewed mission. All goes well, it will actually send the astronauts, the 4-person crew, to the moon to orbit the moon around the far side of the moon. And if that happens, they will go the furthest away from Earth that any humans have ever gone. So that would be pretty awesome.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
Can get away from this place for a while.
I mean, because as humans, we've been in low Earth orbit since the last moon launch, which was 50 years ago, Apollo 17. And so that would be pretty cool to finally do that. So this article is actually pretty comprehensive, which is nice. It goes over a lot of what they're going to be doing, like each stage of the process of launching and being in orbit around the Earth. And then they're going to be testing different things. I mean, while they're in Earth orbit, they even talk about how they're going to test the waste collection, which is NASA's way of referring to use of the capsule's cramped toilet compartment. But obviously a lot more things than that. So as it goes up, they're going to test different systems, and if all goes well, they will actually go launch to the moon, which would be pretty sweet.
Wow.
It'll take 4 days to get to the moon. So assuming the Orion gets a clean bill of health after engineers review data from its first day in space, the crew will set up for the critical translunar injection, which would be about 25 hours after launch. A 6-minute, 5-second engine firing will boost the ship's velocity by about 900 miles per hour, just enough to push it out of Earth's orbit to begin the 4-day coast to the moon. And so there won't need to be any more maneuvering after that. It'll be on a trajectory to go to the moon and come back, just based on its coasting and based on gravity. Let's see. So they talk about, yes, it'll be the greatest distance we've gone, humans have ever gone away from Earth. I'm trying to see, let's see. And then they go over how it'll come back. They do note that there was an issue with the heat shield from Artemis 1, which is an unpiloted test flight from 2022. It did land safely, but the heat shield was cracked. And so after a lot of testing, rather than replacing the heat shield like with a new designed heat shield, they're changing how it's going to re-enter the atmosphere to make sure it's safe. And so, yeah, I think just overall what got me was the fact that we're actually doing it, which is nice. Hopefully, it was planned to launch already, but there was a weather issue, and then there's been issues with some of the systems. There was a leak that they had to fix, and so there have already been plenty of delays, but all of that seems to be fixed, and there's an 80% chance the weather will be fine Wednesday so that they can actually launch. So that'd be pretty awesome.
It's exciting.
This is all part of the bigger Artemis plan, which initially was to establish a orbiting base around the moon. But now that has been changed to being a moon base that's actually going to be on the moon. Looking at another article that talks about that, because I know there's been a lot of different things about the funding for this program. I thought I saw a headline not that long ago that it had been scrapped, but from what I'm reading today, it appears that it's still going on. Definitely in a different form. NASA will invest $20 billion over the next 7 years to build a base on the surface of the moon, putting plans for a space station that would orbit it on hold. Should not really surprise anyone that we are pausing Gateway in its current form, which was going to be the orbiting station around the moon, and focusing on infrastructure that supports sustained operations on the lunar surface.
Are we doing For All Mankind for real now?
Finally.
Basically, yeah, finally.
Finally.
So I think the idea, and I don't know for sure, I'm just going off memory, that the point of having an orbiting base on the moon was that we could get there and back easier. We wouldn't have to worry about the issues of landing on the moon and getting out of the moon's gravity well, which is not that bad, but still requires more than if you could just get into orbit and maybe launch things from orbit to other places. So now if we establish a physical presence on the surface of the moon, it does cause a little bit more issues with how we use that base. But it's also really cool, though, to have a base on the physical surface of the moon. And
yeah.
So, you know,
I'm
I'm still skeptical. We're still in the early stages of actually doing that, and I'm still skeptical what'll actually happen with all the political issues and money issues that are involved with that. But yeah,
send all the billionaires either into space or down into the ocean.
Make them
or the
pay
sun.
for
I can go check out the sun.
Tell them it's made of solid gold, and they'll be off. It does make a whole lot of sense to have a lunar orbital station, just from like the logistics of having a spacecraft that could simply, I say simply, it's not simple, but shuttle between an Earth-based orbital station to a lunar-based orbital station to transfer supplies back and forth in that manner, and then have smaller shuttles going up and down just to the stations and back. That, I mean, just logistically, if dumb me can think of that, like, I'm sure that's got to be the way to do it, right?
Yeah, I think that's why it was their original plan. I think that's what made the most logistical sense.
So why would they abandon it? I mean, we're just in conjecture here, having a conversation. Why do you think?
Uh,
Why would they
I
abandon that?
mean,
Just
I
money?
think we might have mentioned it before, and I'd have to go in and see the details because right now I'm going off memory, which could be very flawed, but I think it's political. I think the the people willing to fund this kind of mission were more like, well, wouldn't it be cooler? Maybe not cooler, but wouldn't it be more of a permanent presence to have a base on the moon? Um, yeah, I'm also speculating, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
from what I remember, it was politically motivated.
All right. So we're gonna. So here's what I think is gonna happen. They're gonna do this. It's gonna go great, and then they're gonna say, all right, let's go. Let's put apartments on the moon, and they're gonna put a base down there, which will be like the tiniest little capsule. Like it's gonna be like For All Mankind. Where like was it Jamestown? No.
Yes.
Is that what it was? Jamestown?
On the moon, it was Jamestown. Yeah,
Okay.
and it's Happy Valley on Mars.
Right. So Jamestown on the moon, we're going to do that. It's going to be a tiny little building, and some poor soul is going to be sent there to just stand around. Maybe that's what we can do with the ice agents. Like they like standing around places. Send them to the moon.
Yeah.
Tell them no one who's not an Earth person are allowed there. Give them ammo. It'll be fine.
I do. I think now is a great time to bring up the latest season of For All Mankind. It has started, so check it out.
It started?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but
Yeah.
the first episode. But yeah, I've heard it's
I'm-
out, right?
I'm about-
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I'm about halfway through the first episode. But definitely check the pre-season news reports where they cover like
okay.
news from the world going from I think 2004 through 2012 is how the news reports go this time.
Wow.
Yeah, 2004 to 2012. Yeah, I mean everything from North Korea setting up their own base on Mars to the new alliance between a bunch of countries for like the M6 is what they call it in universe. And then there's another organization of other spacefaring countries that's set up too, as well as the creation of a space elevator on Mars to gather all the stuff from the asteroid the Goldilocks asteroid that they did the heist for last season. It's really cool. Lots of cool stuff going on.
All right.
So
let's do a quick recap here of For All Mankind. I know we're not
quick.
not all of it. Yeah, real quick, because it's been a while since the last season. I don't know how long it's been. It feels like it's been a long time since the previous season. But for those who don't know, or if this is your first time hearing about For All Mankind, it's a show on Apple TV Plus. Is that what the service is called? Whatever.
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
I think it's plus, but yeah.
Is there a plus on there?
They removed the plus.
They removed the plus.
I'm looking at a plus right now. You're right. They could have removed it, and they haven't done it on all their marketing.
I don't
Right.
know.
Not everything has. Yeah. It. But believe me, it is.
Wait,
a
there's
source of a
Apple
lot of discussion.
TV divided by?
Wow.
Oh man.
Devin.
Yeah. So the last season wrapped up January 12th, 2024.
Okay.
So it's been a couple of years.
I mean,
And,
January,
yeah.
so like that's close to 2023. Yeah, okay.
Crazy.
It's been over
I don't
2
think-
years.
It doesn't feel that long ago to me, but
It feels like forever to me. I don't know why.
No.
Anyways, if people listening don't know what it is, it's on the Apple streaming service. It's a show that in the first season, the kicker is Russia landed on the moon before we did. And so the entire rest of the series is every season is a chunk of time where it's an alternate universe of like, because of that one change, what has now also changed. And so they do this
Roughly a decade a season.
roughly a decade a season, right? The first season was the 60s, and we got 70s, 80s, 90s. Now we're in the 2000s.
We're in the 2010s.
We're in the
now.
2010s. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So
this season.
as part of their marketing, which I think is genius, is between seasons or really in the ramp up to whatever the newest season is coming out, they have a series of shorts that they put out that are news reports of things that have happened between the seasons in this alternate timeline. And so
they compare it and contrast it with with what actually happened in our reality too.
Yeah,
cool.
Sometimes they'll do stuff like that as well, which is pretty cool. And as time goes on, things have gotten like wildly different in some aspects. In others, they take archival footage of stuff and kind of switch it around. And they did something with Clinton, didn't they? That sounds familiar.
Yeah. And a large part of kind of coming into this season is kind of reaction to President Gore's support of the independence of the Mars colony.
Right. So
as we know, President, there was no President Gore. He didn't, he never became president. But in this universe, he was
there. And there's a lot of like president switching, but it's all explained very politically. If you look, kind of deeper into the show than just the
most
the
people
part.
would probably hate it, and they'd probably be like, "It's being too political." But I want to see Trump become president in this world.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be super interesting.
Either he's way more somehow, it's an alternate reality. His upbringing was different. His whatever is different. See him as a different, like maybe more moderate. Like somehow he wasn't radicalized. Or of course, the more entertaining would be just as crazy as he is now, with also having so much more influence over the whole solar system. Being like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like you're starting a war with Mars. They're cutting off the strait of the asteroid belt. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, that would be interesting.
Of course, it looks like that's where the season's going anyway. But
yeah. President Bragg in the show,
but he could do much worse. He could find a way to make it way worse.
Yeah, President Bragg in the show does seem, from what I've seen so far,
kind of
is about creating a division between Mars, and basically like if Earth is sending all of our resources to support Mars and the Moon, and Earth is not receiving a tangible benefit from it, why are we even doing that?
Yeah. There are interesting stories to be told in that space, for sure. And they do have the thing where like an independent tech billionaire decides to throw his hat in the ring. That was what, season 3, 4, which that is aligned with having tech billionaires do what they want to do now, and so they're touching on those things, which is quite interesting.
There's a large group of refugees on the Mars colony on Happy Valley, which they're referred to as craters because they hid inside of crates, in order to escape the Earth and hopefully go for a better life on Mars.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it's wild.
That is wild. The last bit we need to take a break is that they were renewed for a 6th and final season. So
yes,
eventually the story's going to wrap up.
However, immediately after this season 5 ends, the last episode of season 5 will be airing on the same day as the first episode of Star City, which is a new Apple TV show that is in the For All Mankind universe that kind of takes a lot of the events that we've seen from the Russian perspective.
Right.
Because everything we've seen has been very U.S. based.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which that'll be really fascinating.
I mean, yes, but also I'll be like, wait, what was happening with Russia back in the 60s? Like, we're kind of like have to go back in time again. But hey, maybe that'll boost a rewatch of season 1, because that's really kind of interesting.
And I'm really not certain which era they're going to begin Star City in, to be honest.
It looked from the little trailer like it was the 60s. But maybe that's just what Russia looks like.
There's also stuff from the trailer that seemed to be in other eras. So it may not be like strictly time-based.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure, So, who knows? But I'm excited about it. This is Ronald D. Moore show For All Mankind is, and his work on the Battlestar Galactica reboot and on Deep Space Nine is incredible. So, you know, to get more from him and everybody involved is just really cool. So
yeah. All right. Well, with that, now I don't have to do my science bit and push it off for another week. One of these days, I'm going to talk about a clinical trial found that listening to specially designed music with auditory beat stimulation can significantly reduce anxiety. It will not be this week. We're going to take ourselves a little break. When we come back, we are talking Through the Machine by P.A. Cornell. A nice little sci-fi short story. There is a link in the show notes if you'd like to read it yourself. Take you 5 to 10 minutes. I recommend it. And we'll talk about it when we come back. So we'll be right back. Oh, wow. Another free listener. Incredible. Look, I love that you're here, but let's be real. You could be getting so much more. Bonus episodes, unfiltered takes, behind-the-scenes chaos. All you have to do is join our Patreon at patreon.com/sciencefactionpodcast. Or don't. But if you don't, just know that somewhere in a parallel universe, a better version of you already has. And we're back.
Heyo.
Hello.
Hi.
And a big thank you to our patrons, Renee and Josh. You guys are great. And you guys got to hear a lot of additional talk about about electric vehicles and our talk, you know,
And driving and complaining about wives. It's great.
Yeah,
It's great
and fire
talk.
trucks.
Fryer tucks. All right. Let's get into our book club for the week. Next week, Ben, please tell us what we're reading for next week.
Yeah. So we are reading a poem called "The O'Neill Cylinder in Geostationary Orbit Above Earth's Equator" by Catalina Summerberg from Strange Horizons. And I finally have made everybody read a poem. So, or will have.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
We'll see who reads it.
Yeah. Devin was like, "Oh man, are you guys tricking me into reading poetry?" Yes, Devin. Yes.
I mean, that's one heck of a
this-
title.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
right. Well, it's funny because like the first short story I had suggested seemed to be poetry-like, but was not science fiction enough. And now, "The O'Neill Cylinder in Geostationary Orbit Above Earth's Equator" is a poem, and it's gonna be fun. I haven't read it yet, but
as we do on this podcast, our book club, no matter the format of the media, needs to be science fiction. We've done books, we've done short stories, we've done movies. Now it's time for poetry.
We've done horror too, like not necessarily just short stories. But
we did a little bit of that.
Or sci-fi. Yeah. But this week we have P.A. Cornell's Through the Machine, an actual short story that is also science fiction and also possibly real. Pretty soon.
Not very science. It's like just a stretch to make it science fiction.
It's one of those like 10 minutes into the future kind of stories.
Right. And so, my friends, this story follows Steve, who is an actor who is shown up at a red carpet for a film that he and his co-star and on-screen love interests were ostensibly in. However, Steve and Daphne, the two co-stars of this film, didn't actually act in this film. They were replaced by artificial intelligence puppets that acted in the film, and they're just there to promote it. And so this is the first time that they're actually seeing the film at this red carpet event. They haven't read the script. They know nothing about what it's about. And and that's kind of where it starts.
This is like a bizarre examination of the future of Hollywood. And I say bizarre not in an unrealistic way, just in a like, I can't believe that this is actually something that feels so plausible right now. I just want to tag up on it that I last night I watched a video on Corridor Crew on their YouTube, which they do the VFX artists react videos, and they reacted to I'm gonna pull it up now, a Darren Aronofsky film, big quotes film, that it was entirely AI generated, about the history of America. And you can you can tell that this has been generated because everything looks a little off, right? Everything has that like, oh, this isn't real kind of sheen to it. But also like one of the guys, when he's reacting, he's talking about that when he watches the film, a lot of times he'll focus on the actor's eyes, and there's like a meaning and a thoughtfulness behind the eyes that the actor is portraying this role. And when you watch this generated thing, the eyes look completely soulless. And I'd never thought of it that way, but then I kind of focused on the eyes, and it was like, oh yeah, there's something eerily not right there. And so we're not there yet, but things keep getting better and better. And so this story does not seem outside of the realms of possibilities at all, which is scary.
I think it's fascinating that like Steve is watching the movie, and he recognizes that he and his and the love interest that he has, played by, ostensibly played by Daphne in this, have no chemistry because they're not actors interacting with one another.
His opinion, like, what if you were to ask the average moviegoer, would they have felt that? Or because he knows he didn't act in it, and he knows what he like. Is that just his opinion? I'm curious, because these make money in this world. They wouldn't do it if it didn't make money. That's true about just about everything. So people enjoy it enough, and that it makes money, and so they're going to keep doing it. Because if it was completely flat and emotionless, you'd think that it would have some effect on the bottom line. Of course, maybe not. Maybe if you don't have any other options and you're just there to see big explosions, you don't care what the actors do or how they look. But I wonder if that aspect of it, if it's simulated enough to where people are like, yeah, it's good enough, that's fine.
Well, I mean, and the big question is it critically acclaimed? Is it, does it get the audience tomato meter score up?
That you guys are missing the point. It's not about any of that. It's about money.
Right.
Like in this world,
that's what I said.
What this story does not talk about the general population, right? This is all from the point of view of Steve. And so we don't see what the general audience's reaction is to this. But since this is what Hollywood is doing, it must be because it's making them money. So if you can take an actor, scan them up, be able to recreate them 100% digitally, then you're no longer dealing with thousands of people, right? Like the set builders, the people, driving people back and forth to the lot and back. Like there's so much that just gets shrunken down to now it's just in a computer.
They touch on that when he sees they touch on that in the story when he sees his friend who's like, well, you're the actor, you still get paid, but us who the
the stunt guy, right? That's his stunt guy friend.
The movies, they don't need them at all. Yeah, like you don't need a boom mic operator or assistants or anything. Like,
this would completely crush the creative elements of Hollywood, which is exactly what the story talks about, where Steve is completely disenfranchised by this whole thing, and in the end decides that he wants to go back into theater. And the theater people are like, man, you're just a name now.
Right. Yeah. And you're kind of, it's the refugee problem, right? Like you are like operating on, like you're taking work away from the hardworking actors who have been in the musical scene for years, and you're just trying to find another place to be, right?
Mhm.
And it's
Well,
I think it's fascinating on so many different levels. Part of it really has to do with like artwork, like art being the being commercial and the commercialization of it.
mhm.
That's what this also is coming to, right? Is about like is it worth it to do something if it's not going to make money?
Right.
You know,
Well, and
as an artist.
it's interesting too that when he joins up this theater troupe and he talks to them and they're like, yeah, you're here because you're a name that's going to attract people. And he's like, oh, I don't want to be that. I will leave this project, and then you, old guy or former like headliner who's now taking a bit part, you take over. And he's like, no, because then no one will come and see us.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, is this still art worthy of being seen at that point?
So that's entirely the big question. And I think
Yeah.
that what like the answer I would like everybody to maybe consider, whether it's the correct answer or not, is art is not there just for people to see it. You don't just make art thinking about how it's going to sell. Otherwise, you're going to get soulless art. And
Mhm.
AI, the big plagiarism machine that it is,
Yeah.
that's all it is a plagiarism machine,
Mhm.
is only going to create soulless copies of things that, that like it's not pushing things forward. Now, mind you, maybe it will find a new way of doing all that stuff. But like in terms of what your effort and what you are that you're doing, like it's really a shame the people who have like tied their livelihoods to the creation of art. And right now we're in the midst of a reorganization of that, of determining, well, what is it that the market forces will bear,
Mhm.
well, like it's not but at the same point, like I'm coming at this from a perspective where, like, for us, if no one were our patrons, we could still consider making this podcast.
Well,
Right?
we made it
Like,
before patrons, and we'll make it after patrons.
Yeah.
We're like, this to me is our form of art that we make for us. This isn't for anyone else. We're doing this for
how
us.
incredible that we have the privilege of not having this be tied to our livelihoods.
Yeah.
That this is a thing that we have. That's not what everybody in Hollywood has the ability to do, right? But yeah, like it's reality. Whether it's sad or not, whether it's, think of the plight of the hardworking actors, or not, it is what it is, and it's coming. And this story brings up a lot of questions and a lot of empathy and a lot of potential ways forward of, like, well, hey, forget about whether or not it's going to be popular. Make art to make art. Find people to act with in performances and do that, right?
Well,
it doesn't matter if hundreds of, like, if it's popular, if it's worthy to be done, do it.
And at the end of the
What
story,
if you want to?
that's
What
what
if
he
you want to
does.
make a livelihood? Like, yeah, that is what he does. But what if you want that to be your job and that's how you live? Like, you do have. It has to be marketable to some extent.
So,
Or are you saying acting
I
should
guess
only ever be a hobby?
what I'm getting at is that there are many sizes of projects out there, some of which require millions of dollars, some of which require a weekend and an iPhone to film stuff. Like, what we are currently in the middle of is an attention economy in which, like, the people who are making 30-second TikToks are getting as many eyeballs and as much attention as the people who are involved in making multi-million-dollar action movies. Like this is entirely changing every single moment of every single day. Now, like, what is it that people can, are excited about? Like, for example, if I see a video that comes to me and the ADR that's happening over it is obviously an AI, voice, I think really hard about whether or not I want to continue watching this video, even if it's like a minute long. It's
it's usually a skip for me.
It was, and because it was made thoughtlessly and carelessly, but perhaps perhaps the quality of it is what it is. And perhaps I still want to see what it is that they're offering. But however, not everybody is as sensitive to that stuff as I am,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I agree. I'm just saying that when we say we should make art for art's sake, that's fine, but you also don't expect to make a lot of money off of it. So that means that you have to
exactly.
then
That
find
is
a way to make money.
That is exactly the point, Devin. It should not be tied to money at all.
Right.
Should. I know realistically it needs to be, but going back to the whole idea of patrons, being a patron of the art, that is somebody who wants to invest in art knowing that it is something that will improve humanity. That's why there are patrons, like not Patreon patrons, but people that will just say like, hey, a theater troupe, here's a bunch of money, keep doing plays, right? Like those kinds of patrons is where the true artist will get their money from. The true starving artist, right? They will find a way to make the art that they want to make. And if money becomes involved later, it's an afterthought. It's not the reason behind the art.
Okay. I guess I don't know what point I'm trying to make anymore, but yeah, AI sucks.
It does. It's a thoughtless stealing machine that we have no control over, that I use every week. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't use it to make money. I use it for fun. And so, I don't know. Is that better? I have no idea. Anyway, I put up a link to that AI-generated historical document thing from Darren Aronofsky. It's an Ars Technica article from February 6th called Why Darren Aronofsky Thought an AI-Generated Historical Docudrama Was a Good Idea. Production source says it takes weeks to produce just minutes of usable video. Oof. And there's links on this article so that you can like see trailers and stuff and images. Images still look pretty good, but when you see it in motion, it's a little like, oh. And yeah, check that out if you want to.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, very good, very good. So one thing I wanted to bring up, that I think that my microphone went wonky. Throughout the course of movie making, there have been eras which have redefined and changed people's work. Like think about the talkies, think about color coming to film, think about the invention of movie making and how it impacted the plays. Like plays didn't go away.
Yeah.
But we're at another inflection point right now, like it or not. And we have the ability, if we do like it, to support it. And if we don't like it, don't support it. Don't watch the things that you don't like, though you're on this crazy roller coaster of whatever it is that the algorithms are serving you. You can also not. You can turn your YouTube to like immediately go to your subscribed page instead of the homepage. Like you can.
Yeah, there's ways around it for sure.
Yeah, but it does require people being mindful of it, right, and not just carelessly eating the slop that's being
Yeah,
shoveled.
don't
at
be a
us.
careless consumer. Be mindful of where you're spending your money, who you're giving your time, money, and attention to, because that feeds the beast. And vote with since all that anyone cares about is money anyway, that's how you deal with things. You vote with your wallet in a lot of senses. And if you don't want to watch something, don't put your eyes on it. Don't give it the views. Don't give it the thumbs up and the hearts and the everything else. Turn it off. Go read a book. Knock it off. Stop being like this. All right, we need to wrap up this week. Through the Machine, thought-provoking, a little too close to reality. I recommend it to anyone who interacts with AI stuff at all. What do you guys think? You going to be recommending this thing to anyone? Who would you recommend it to? Did you hate it?
I thought it was good. It's well written. I would recommend it.
I
Just to people.
liked what the questions it brought up. I did not like the structure of it being like it was very it was very matter of fact. Every single sentence, was like devoid of the emotion of it. It was just like oh, here's the things that happen. And that didn't really align with my sensibilities in terms of stories. But, I still read the whole thing. It was pretty quick. And, it had its own approach to it. And P.A. Cornell, I'd like to read more of their work and trying to see is this kind of the style that P.A. Cornell has? Or is this, or is this just what served this story at this point?
To me, it feels like it serves the story because the main character is very passive about what's happening with their life until the very end when they finally make a decision about oh, this is what I want to do instead. Mm-hmm. And so I would wager and say that was purposeful in the story, but got to read more to find out for real. All right, so next week, the O'Neill Cylinder in Geostationary Orbit Above Earth's Equator by Catalina Sommerberg is what we will be reading. Link is in the show notes. It will take you about 30 seconds to read, but a lifetime to understand. I don't know. I haven't read it yet.
We'll see.
We'll see.
How long is your life, Stephen?
Well, it's about... whoops.
All right.
Oh, I'm back. It's fine.
Any last words, Stephen? Any final thoughts?
Avenge me.
Just kidding on. Yeah.
Devin, do you have any last thoughts for this episode?
I do not.
All right. Ben, do you have any last words for us?
I mean, I think it's a real shame nothing is built in the U.S. anymore. I was at the store the other day and there was a TV. It said built-in antenna. To be perfectly honest, I don't even know where that is.
Good night, everybody.
This has been the Science Faction Podcast. Tweet to the host at SciFact Podcast. Email them at sciencefactionpodcast@gmail.com and visit sciencefactionpodcast.com for more episodes.